All right, what's going on, people? We are back. This is episode number 19, Conscious Approach Podcast. JV Wins here, Dave De Niro G here once again. We wanted to talk about the climate of the NBA with regards to Black Lives Matter and all of this social justice initiative stuff that's been going on over the past week. Kyrie Irving made some statements about not wanting to get the season started because he felt like it would be a distraction to do so. I guess to sum it up, he felt as though starting the NBA season would distract from Black Lives Matter and the focus needs to stay on the cause, is what he was trying to say. And I'm going to tell you why that was stupid. Just to kind of quote him a little bit, this is from the sports story in Boston.com. Quote, "I don't support going into Orlando," Irving said during the call, according to Sharania. Quote, I'm not with the systematic racism and the bullshit. Something smells a little fishy. Whether we want to admit it or not, we are targeted as black men every day we wake up. And then there's another quote here where he says that he would rather quote, work on the front lines in his community to focus on racial oppression and systematic racism in the aftermath of Floyd's death. So Kyrie Irving has often struck me as a conflicted individual. I get the same feel from him that I get from Kevin Durant at times, where there is dissonance that is taking place between who he wants to be and who he thinks he should be. And sometimes that results in him saying things that a lot of times don't make sense. This is also the same person who went on national television in front of several credible media sources and said that the earth was flat, and that, the belief in the earth being round is a conspiracy, which was a totally irresponsible thing to say and stupid. And this is also a guy who went on First Take a couple years ago and was entirely evasive. His responses to every question that was asked of him.
And LeBron, though.
Huh?
That was with him and LeBron.
No, he went on First Take by himself after he left Cleveland. And LeBron was still there. So this is, I guess, after his first year. This is during his first year in Boston. And he was on First Take with Max Kellerman, Stephen A. Smith. And Max Kellerman was asking him legitimate questions with regards to LeBron and that dynamic in the relationship. And he didn't answer directly any of the questions. He would just be evasive and get philosophical and think that he was tricking you. It was like a Jedi mind trick type thing where he was being smart and metaphysical and philosophical despite the fact that he wasn't actually answering the question. And, you had to wonder, does this guy really think that he's fooling people in this regard? To me, he is one of those people who thinks that he's the smartest person in the room, even though he's not. That's just my opinion based on the public statements that he's made. If you feel differently about Kyrie, then God be with you. But to me, I just think that he is someone who is not as smart as he thinks he is. And this, to me, was a stupid statement. Because, in effect, what he was trying to suggest was that getting back to the business of sports, playing in the NBA, would be distracting from Black Lives Matter, and we need all the focus and awareness to be on Black Lives Matter. However, I think that is counterintuitive to actually keeping the awareness on Black Lives Matter, because as a professional athlete, your platform is your arena, no pun intended. So your platform is the court. You want to have as many people as possible paying attention to what you stand for and what you have to say. And as a professional athlete, you will never have more eyeballs on you, and you will never have more people paying attention to what you have to say than when you are involved in the rigors of your season and you're actually competing and playing in your sport. Then you can leverage that stage to bring light to whatever causes you want to bring light to, whether it's before the game, after the game, whether it's, public statements that you want to make whenever you're doing media availability. That is when you actually leverage a platform and utilize the time that you have available to you to bring light to what you want to bring light to. If you take the games away, that stage no longer exists, and you have less people, mind you, the people who need to be paying attention to you, not us, but maybe a lot of people in middle America, maybe some other non-black people or some white people who you feel might be apathetic towards the cause of Black Lives Matter, and they need to keep their eye on the prize, so they need to continue to pay attention. Those people might fall off the radar in terms of you being able to garner their attention if you're not playing the game. Therefore, they're not watching you. Therefore, they're not listening to you. Because trust and believe, just because you can hold all the virtual town halls that you want where you discuss what you want to do and your experiences and how Black Lives Matter, those people aren't going to pay attention to what you have to say just because you were on a YouTube video or you were on a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live. Those people don't care. They don't give a damn. When they're going to pay attention to you is when you're playing. And for better or worse, like it or not, you are a professional NBA player and you're an elite one at that. So you will never have more people paying attention to what it is that you have to say than when you're actually playing the game. So on a basic fundamental level, to me, it strikes me as counterintuitiveness for you to suggest that by not playing the game, we're going to have more people glued to what's happening with Black Lives Matter, given the platform that we're going to leverage, when the greatest platform that you can leverage is your playing stage.
True. Oh, yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I don't know, because like I said, when I heard about it, I really wasn't putting too much thought into it, you know what I mean? Because it's like, I really got, like I was telling you, just kind of mentally getting exhausted with all this stuff and just, everything that's going on. But I guess I would say, though, so he speaks on systemic racism or, systemic oppression. So I'm just asking, like, is it fair to say that maybe he's saying that, the NBA system and the professional sports systems, as much as we like to say they get paid millions of dollars, it is still a system that is technically what we say majority white owners and the players running. So if they was to protest and not play, then that would cause, some confusion to the system when it comes to professional sports. And of course that would come at sacrificing some dollars. But I don't know, I was thinking if they were to do that in that sense, maybe that, because I know the NBA is on the front line when it comes to like racial. They're not the NFL, so these players have freedom of speech. They're good at that. But if you start to disrupt the systems, you know what I mean? Because I don't know, like say if they say, okay, these players willing to not play for millions of dollars, then you might have people who in the civilian world might start working, start to say, we're not working, so maybe that could be something that can lead from that in that sense, where if they can do it, then we can understand that one way to get out of systemic racism is to disrupt the system. And so I think that's maybe the point he's trying to say, that maybe we need to try to figure out more ways to try to disrupt the system as opposed to just going with the system, going to a bubble, boom, 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 making it all like nothing happened. Because the NBA don't care. They making all these reservations and all these reservations just for one thing. So they don't miss out on money.
But I think that when I just highly doubt that we're going to get back to basketball. I think that if they do decide to go through with this bubble plan of playing all the games at Disney World and everything, those guys are going to be talking about this Black Lives Matter stuff every chance they get. So it's not really going to be forgotten.
I guess, but with all the social distance, because they got to have like it's not going to be, they're going to get, but it's not going to be like the normal how a bunch of reporters room. So it might not even be like interviews might be the same. They might, for all we know, they might just just got to read more, but they might just be focused on more of getting the games played and not having as many interviews. And because they might, and just to keep the social distance down, the interviews might be shorter. You might not have as much media time that we think they would have, as opposed to might be more media covering saying, well, the players are in the room right now. They're really trying to social. We only can get 5 minutes. You can't really articulate yourself when you give them constraints because you have a lot of things going on. So that's what I'm saying. Like the bubble might, even though we say they might speak, but the situation itself could damn near have an effect on you mentally, where you might not even be able to hone in.
Right. But okay, so to address that point directly, from what I have read, it's my understanding that media availability is still going to be a part of the bubble plan. There will just be precautions taken, like everybody got to wear a mask, 6 feet apart, that kind of thing. If you watched, like when the coronavirus thing first happened and the shutdown took place, I used to watch those White House briefings every day, and the president, everybody was still giving. It was still the same deal. It was still a room full of reporters, but they were a little more spread apart, and everybody had a mask on. So I feel like the opportunity to bring light to the cause via media availability will still be present, despite the fact that there are gonna be some concessions that will need to be made given the situation surrounding the pandemic. But furthermore, what you're saying about sort of injecting a shock into the system, that would depend on whether people like Kyrie Irving and other players in the NBA view the NBA as sort of a symbol of systemic racism and systematic oppression. I don't know that. I'm not saying that they do or don't. I'm just saying I don't know that. So if their plan is to have that sort of be in effect, like let's just put a shock to everything. Let's not play. F it. We just finna, go cold turkey, no plan. Let's just make a statement in that regard. That will be effective. I guess that's valid from the standpoint. I guess what I'm saying is that is valid if you believe that Kyrie Irving's approach with that would be that the NBA is sort of synonymous with systematic oppression and systemic racism to the point where we're going to shock this system too until we get some act right. I mean, I don't necessarily know that that's the case, but again, I just think that on an elementary level, they're professional athletes, man. So at the end of the day, no matter how much of an activist these guys want to be, no matter how much they want to hold press conferences or be in courtrooms, or if they want to get involved in the community, all of that's great. But from the standpoint of people who tune in to pay attention to them, they never have a more grand stage than when they're playing the game, period. It's that simple.
I got you.
So like when you talk about bringing awareness to Black Lives Matter, your opportunity to do that is greatest when you're playing, because that's when the most people are paying attention to you. I'm not trying to make this rocket science. No. It's very simple. So that huge area in the middle of the map that they call Middle America, which one might assume constitutes the majority of non-Black people who might be apathetic towards the plight of Black Lives Matter, those people ain't paying attention to Kyrie Irving if he's not playing in a game.
Yeah.
They're not. So if you want people to pay attention to sort of keep the train on the tracks and keep momentum going, it best serves you to play the game so that you can leverage that stage to do that.
And I get that point, what you're saying. But, and like I said, I'm just trying, I'm not saying I'm just like that. I'm trying, because like I said, I'm just trying to see, it's always more ways to skin a cat, right?
Yeah, it is.
So I'm thinking in the sense of, okay, I get it, but like it's just like with Kanye a few years ago, when Kanye concerts, like, okay, I pay to go to a Kanye concert. I come to see Kanye. But the second you spend 30 minutes, 40 minutes ranting, I'm not interested. Even though I came to see you, I came to see you to perform. So yeah, people might be watching. You got the platform. But I'm going to tell you right now, some people, before the game, LeBron needs to talk such and such. Refrigerator.
Yeah.
Outside, cigarette.
Yeah.
I ain't got to watch it.
Right.
So just because they playing, man, I ain't got to watch it halftime. We're doing the Black Lives Matter show. Honey, I'm going to the store. I'll be back.
Yeah.
Right. You missed it anyway.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you right now, if ain't no game, it's like, damn, they ain't playing. So now you ain't even going to the store. You ain't even got none. So it's like, you don't miss what you got until it's gone. And I think what he's saying is, if we crank it up, that just gives a little bit more comfort zone to, just to get back to basketball. LeBron, I just want to watch LeBron ball. Like, come on, I don't want to hear LeBron speak at halftime. We've been dealing with this for 2 months now. Let's get back to normal.
The only thing that makes me not agree with that is Colin Kaepernick. Because when Kaepernick knelt and he started that whole movement, which eventually snowballed into the ridiculous debate over, I don't even want to think about how stupid it was that became co-opted with a conversation about patriotism and the military and flags.
But the good thing about this is, the difference is, Colin Kaepernick was like you turned up and on 350, whatever it is. He was just warming up. The fire
He was
heated.
preheated. But
so now the fire is hot. So it's out there now. Like now is the time. Kaepernick, unfortunately, 3 years ago, the climate has changed.
yeah, but the thing is, when he did what he did, and that eventually snowballed into a national referendum on patriotism and all of this kind of stuff, when Kaepernick himself started this whole Black Lives Matter within the context of sports, he started that with the whole kneeling thing a few years ago. That didn't well, actually, the ratings for the NFL decreased, to your point. So people were tuning away, and I guess even though this was never proven, people pretty much summarized that the reason why ratings were decreasing in the NFL was because of the anthem protests. Nevertheless, the eyeballs on the NFL were at the highest point because the games were playing. You compromise your ability to do whatever it is that you need to do when you don't have the stage to protest.
I got you.
So like if I feel like you stand a better chance to do what it is that you want to do to achieve what you want to achieve as an NBA player if you let the games be held. And hell, shit, protest during the game.
I'm with you. I just look at it like this. Kaepernick, let's say I had a house. Kaepernick came through. He said, man, that roof is only one little crack, but it is a problem. But you know what I'm saying? It's probably going to come down. But you probably can get away. You know, you can not really address it. Then guess what happened 3 years later? Your roof caved in.
Yeah.
Guess what happens now? Now we got to address this. So now it's like people ain't want to listen to Kaepernick, but because of George Floyd, because of social media, because of all that, regardless of how you feel, what side you're on, you got to address it now. And that's it. The fire's up. The fire's lit. Not saying you got to fight fire, but the fire's lit. So Kyrie knows if the NBA players say forget a boycott, at the end of the day, that's just going to be more gas on the fire. Regardless, good or bad, how people going to feel about it, that's just going to be more fire. And guess what happens? When there's a fire, people start to look out.
I see what you're saying, but I think that you run the risk of alienating more people instead of bringing them together. You're just going to get more people mad at you because you took the NBA away. And I'm just saying, human nature is such that.
Yeah, we ain't take they ain't saying don't play ever again.
I know, but the thing is, if you turn on ESPN and they say breaking news, NBA, ratifies the plan to resume the 2019-2020 season on July 31st with a bubble system in Orlando. People are going to say, okay, the NBA is going to come back July 31st in Orlando. It's going to be a little weird, but it'll be back. If they turn on the ESPN a week, 2 weeks later and find out that all of the players unilaterally decided that they were not going to play, hence there are no games going to be played, you're going to alienate a lot of people who might have been willing to participate in your ongoing conversation about Black Lives Matter, but are now bitter towards you because you took basketball away. Like, I'm not trying to. It's sad and unfortunate, right? So I'm not trying to justify that. I'm saying that would be the reaction. I'm not saying that that's right. I'm saying that that's what would happen. It's sad and unfortunate that people are so addicted to sports that when they feel as though their sports has been compromised in any kind of way, they're willing to throw all of their sense of morality out the window and just be angry at you illogically, unreasonably, because they have no sports.
And those people need to be alienated because they need time to think.
Okay, that's fine, but the question becomes, is that amount of people whom will be alienated so great that you end up compromising your position as somebody who can bring Black Lives Matter to the front doors of a lot of people, but now you don't have the opportunity to do so because you drove them away by canceling the games? I'm just saying, I know you want to wave the black fist and be all or nothing.
I'm not saying that.
No, I'm just saying, like, you want to be all or nothing, like, so be it. But sometimes you have to weigh the pros and cons to any approach.
All the time.
So you have to juxtapose any potential consequences to the benefits gained. If your words specifically are, I want to bring light to Black Lives Matter and the awareness has to remain focused on the fight for social justice and the fight against racial injustice, it does you no good to turn soldiers in your fight away and tell them to go get drafted somewhere else.
I'm not saying that. I'll just say this.
And again, I'm not saying that
I
it's
know.
wrong. I'm not saying that that's right. I'm just saying when you talk about sports within this context and you try to politicize it in any kind of way, even though this is a humanity issue, it's not political. People unfortunately perceive it to be political, but these are matters of humanity.
Yeah.
Like people just there is an affront there. Like, do not compromise my form of escapism. I don't like it when you take my sports away. I don't like it when you politicize it, but I'll take what I can get. So pick your poison. Either you drive me away completely or you bring me in kicking and screaming, but at least I might have an ear open because I see the games going on.
I just see it like this. Everybody trending, we in trending area. I look around, Black Lives Matter is flying across every flag, pole, chair, house, car, Twitter, Instagram. Everybody blacking out. So my thing is,
tell me about it.
Like Martin Luther King, 381 days. 381 days. That's how long Martin Luther King they protested for 381 days. So I'm saying a lot of these sports fans are the same people who waiting for sports, but the same person probably done put Black Lives Matters and all these so all these social injustice. So what I'm saying is, if you feel like that in social justice, then you should understand that, you don't want to compromise your sport, but we got to 381 days.
But see, that's the thing though. I'm cynical. And I, for the most part, have given up on people. I'm gonna be real with you. I've given up.
I'm just saying what's real.
I know. Yeah. Listen. I agree with you, but I have given up on people, and I've given up on people from the standpoint that I firmly believe that those same people, those same white people even, who want to march in the streets with the Black Lives Matter and the flags and all of that kind of stuff, because now we are brothers in arms, Black Lives Matter, right?
Yeah.
So those same people who in the streets talking about Black Lives Matter, who want to black out their social media profiles, they will get so mad at somebody like Kyrie Irving because he took the NBA away from him, or the NBA players because they took the NBA away from him. I mean, I don't want to listen to anything Kyrie Irving has to say. Why can't you just keep the games going? Nah, I'm not going to listen at all. Mind you, these were the same people protesting with black people. Yeah. So I've just given up on expecting people to be reasonable. I don't think they can do it. You have to give them reason in a package that they can consume with the least possible resistance.
I got you.
That's all I'm saying. And the thing, I'm just going off of Kyrie's words specifically, and what he said, and how he is trying to conflate the start of the NBA season with a loss of momentum for Black Lives Matter. And I'm just saying, be careful what you wish for, because if you end up making this happen, you might end up shooting yourself in your own foot with respect to what it is that you want to accomplish. I don't care. What you're saying is true.
Yeah.
I don't care though. People aren't reasonable.
Yeah.
People are not reasonable. People are very unreasonable.
Hey.
Especially when it comes to the sports. And if they feel like you've compromised their sports in any kind of way, no matter how righteous the cause is, they will turn on you.
Sometimes you got to cut your arm off to save your life. That's just it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you get in a situation where, you might lose an arm, but you're alive.
I know. But you gotta wonder how many limbs you willing to lose though.
The only probably be one to be money for the NBA players. At the end of the day, they should be financially I don't like to make it about financial because I'm not. I'm just talking about nobody's pockets.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, from my vantage point, the biggest thing NBA players really have to worry about is just losing a little income. You can care what anybody has to say. Nobody don't know you. So how somebody feel? We trying to get something done as a whole, as unity, as Black Lives Matter, as all lives matters, like everybody pushing. So if that's the case, if the NBA players decide not to play, that would shock the system and that would send something around the world, bro. Like I say, NBA is so global, challenge, like the reverb from that would be so loud, even though it might not seem good, but it would be so loud that it could shake up a lot of things. And I think that's why you think they got that bubble built up? They trying to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't deny that. I just question the constructivism in that kind of approach. When considering the words that he
I would
used.
say this: all them players in the NBA, I think it was more. They said like 100 people was with them, but like it should be more people with like Kyrie. That my thing is like what he's the ostrich.
They're not all with him because his opinion he doesn't share the same. He does not speak for everybody, nor should he. Nor should he.
I would think that's at least to other people. That's not restricted to nobody else.
Apparently, there's a lot of people who agree with him though. Like 25, 30 players are kind of on his side when it comes to maybe we should stop playing. Steven Jackson said on his, I think it was on his Instagram, he put out a video saying they shouldn't play. Yeah, he was saying they shouldn't play. I just don't agree with that. I don't think that is a very constructive approach.
I think they just said the don't play thing just in the basic frame. 80% black, 90% white owners. If you don't play in society, in America, which it was, is rarely that the majority ever get to tell the other black majority get to tell the white majority no. So if the majority of the black players just say we're not playing, that just puts a wrench in how things have went for so long and thinking that you can have some kind of power.
Okay, but then at that point, we're not trying to solve racial injustice. We're just trying to create another symbol. That's just another matter of symbolism.
It's part of symbol. I'm just saying you have to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. So that's what I'm saying. So if you start there, then you can try to trickle down. You know what I'm saying? One brick at a time, man. One brick at a time.
I get it. I don't know how comfortable I feel with it. And these are all hypotheticals, of course. I'm just saying, if going with that hypothetical logic, I don't know how comfortable I feel with a sports league that is for profit and about making money becoming sort of the poster child for social and racial injustice reform. Like, I felt the same way about the NFL and Kaepernick. I just don't know how constructive that is.
But that's why we said, if it's that, or do they feel like they're part, the system, the NBA system that they're part of can be.
I don't think they have issues with the NBA system.
Not when you get paid. The system pays you well.
So that's why I'm saying be careful with that approach, because the NBA is not being held responsible for any of this, nor should they be. The NBA, at no point in the history of my lifetime has the NBA ever been synonymous with social injustice.
So shall I say this then? And I guess it's just I just thought about it. So how about, most of these players like LeBron and them come from the same places where everybody's similar, you know? So damn, I guess I don't want to say he should know, but you would think everybody can't be 6'8". We come from the same place. LeBron's a bunch of other people, and he knows that. Like, LeBron has a school, so I'm not saying they don't do stuff, but like majority of the players come from the places that's getting screwed over by social injustice. So
Correct.
You should know. So like, you should know that like everybody can't be Steven Jackson, everybody can't be Kyrie. So like, I'm fortunate enough to play, but the people that was in that same place might not get him because he can't dribble. So I need to take a stand for that person.
Okay, so that's why you should play the game and take a stand.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't mind. I get the playing part, but I just know how it is. I rarely watch with the social media. People don't be watching like people. Sometimes I watch games. I don't even have the sound on. If I'm betting, I just need to see the game. Like I don't need to hear the sound. So like the second 15-minute Kyrie average Juneteenth.
I know, but I think that that's you, and I think that you.
Well, I'm not saying some people be watching.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I think don't take for granted how
big the platform is.
Yes.
Well, I'm not taking that. I just think too. We know, like you said, you use numbers person statistically.
Right.
That person, what you call it? Damn, what the word I'm looking for? Attention deficit.
ADD, attention deficit disorder.
Average person we not allowed to, like people like social media is like we move fast. So like people like you said, like people I think you saying how big the platform is, but I think a lot of people who be sitting around like even they watching just not like I ain't.
Yeah, but okay, so I mean I'm just reinforcing that argument about numbers.
But
though.
the thing, what I'm saying, so how different is it? Like you actually still get to watch the game, but you don't really care, as opposed to like you can't have your toy. How you gonna feel that if you're not getting that off?
Then you don't care and you're angry.
Yeah, but then it's gonna make you think though. Why is this happening? Why they want to
No.
See, that's when you shut
thinking that people are gonna be reasonable enough to think through the issue. No, people are not gonna be reasonable enough to think through the issue. They're just gonna be upset that they don't have the games. And my thing is, you can't have everything the way you want it. Nothing is perfect. There's no perfect. So you can't have people be sort of like you can't have people be mindful and supportive of Black Lives Matter, but also not upset that they don't have the games, but sort of understanding enough to understand why there are no games and therefore be okay with it and still be willing to listen to what you have to say. Like, you're going to have to pick your battles and you're going to have to choose the best approach, the most constructive approach.
If it was me then.
And I'm not saying one way is better than the other. I'm just saying his comments didn't make sense based on what he claims the goal is. Yeah. What he said doesn't make sense, because if you want to keep the awareness on the cause, you do that by maintaining the greatest platform that you have available to you, not minimizing it.
Well, I think if that's the case, they play. What I would do is I would paint the court with Black Lives Matter.
That's fine.
And I would have, in the circles, have like the names of the guys. I'm talking about that.
Yeah.
And that way, guess what?
Yeah.
So ain't no halftime show.
Right.
You want to watch people run up and down the court, but every time you look at that goddamn court, you're gonna see Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
And that's
fine.
But they're not gonna do that. I don't know. They might, but that's what I'm trying to say.
They won't do that. They won't do that. Okay, but what I'm saying is the game. I get that, but it's still, regardless, you will still have the maximum amount of people possible paying attention to your platform, because the product that you provide is being consumed.
That's what I'm saying. So like these dudes talking about, if you want to play and use your platform, somebody need to say, listen, call LeBron James right now. Call whoever, Adam Silver, you can talk to me if I get a chance, and tell them I propose you paint the court with all Black Lives Matter, put the names of the individuals who have tragically lost their lives in these situations. That way everybody, black, white, Hispanic, who want to watch basketball, who was saying Black Lives Matter after all this. So when you're watching the game, every time a person run up and down the court, you will see one thing: Black Lives Matter, social injustice. And if they do it like that, then guess what? I'm for it, because the platform's being used. But if you get out there and it's just the Lakers in the middle, and you think people just want to have LeBron talk 3 minutes,
well, then that's when it becomes the player's responsibility. Yeah. It's their job to use the platform however they see fit. But don't tell me that you're going to take that away and still bring awareness the way you want to. It's not going to happen. That's completely unrealistic. I mean, you'll still get the hardcore supporters, and most black people will still pay attention. Everybody else is going to tune you out. Is that what you want?
A lot of it's the big part of the population who like there's a lot of African Americans. You know, they're not saying that. Not
there's races, but there's a lot. I'm just saying. If you want to keep your eye on the prize, the idea is to maximize your gains.
I got you.
Any bit, and this is the NBA at the end of the day. So let us not forget that this is a for-profit, multi-billion-dollar corporation. This is not a not-for-profit that depends on donations to spearhead social justice initiatives. Okay, that's not that. People try to co-opt it as that. It's not that. It's not that. So let's keep that in mind and let's be realistic.
Well, like I said, I'm realistically saying, if you want to play, I say paint the court.
Paint the court. Got it.
Point blank.
All right, Dave De Niro says paint the court, Black Lives Matter. Kyrie Irving, go ahead and take that up with the Players Association, since you're the genius who wants to speak out all the time.
That's what I say. Paint the court black. Yeah. And we can be all happy. I watch it every day. Most people just want sports to come back because they're trying to gamble. Let's be honest.
Whatever reason people, whatever reason people, that's irrelevant. That's not relevant. Whatever reason people want sports to come back, I don't care.
I got you.
They will have to listen to what you have to say because it's on.
I got you.
Simple. It's not rocket science, people. Not at all. Listen, I don't agree with what Kyrie Irving said, but look. If I don't run the NBA, I'm not involved in the NBA. I'm just a content creator. So who cares what I think? But I think that what he is proposing is completely counterintuitive to the cause of keeping awareness towards Black Lives Matter. I don't think it makes a lot of sense. That's just my opinion. It is what it is.
And I'm with you. Play the game, but paint the court.
Okay. Play the game, paint the court. We're going to go ahead and close that out. Be sure to check us out on the website, consciousapproach.com. Search us on the YouTube at Conscious Approach. You can find me on Instagram at JVWins. You can find me on Facebook. Just search me via the Conscious Approach, Javis Ogden. I'm on there. Just check me out. You can find Dave De Niro on Instagram at 305_infinity_beyond. Also on Instagram at pvo.apparel, as well as the website pvo.apparel.store. So please check that out. He has a lot of new designs on the website, a lot of new merch promoting positivity. If you're really about Black Lives Matter, you might want to at least check him out because he is a Black-owned business. So, don't be a hypocrite. You talk about supporting Black-owned businesses. There's one right there, and the stuff is reasonably priced. I'm just saying, you got to call people out on the, you got to call people out on the BS.
Hey, listen, I'm all for it. I just want to say this one thing for real. My African-American brothers and sisters out there, I'm all for the change, but let's start to be real with ourselves and please just hold ourselves accountable. We cannot throw every situation into the Black Lives Matter when somebody's, wrongfully or unfortunately killed at the hands of maybe another race cop, whatever. We can't just say every time it's Black Lives Matter or that guy. Like, we got to hold ourselves accountable, and sometimes we put ourselves in situations that are not favorable because of decisions that we choose to make. And I think that we need to just keep that in mind. And like I say, rest in peace to all the people that we lost, to George Floyd, all them people. But Black people, let's start being real with ourselves, man, and telling ourselves we need to make some real changes for real.
Yeah, we can go on and on about
that. I got all day. That's like the Declaration of Independence thing will go from here to
it's like a Dead Sea Scroll. Good luck getting people.
Trying to just throw a little seed out. I know we stubborn, but it's all good. I love the people. I love everybody, but
a lot of us, unfortunately, we don't want to hear that right now. I'm with you. I agree, but a lot of us don't want to hear that right now. They
try to throw you in the house.
Yeah,
they want to throw you in the house and put Tom on top.
Oh yeah, the gatekeeper's gonna come for you now. They're gonna try to.
PVO, I don't support PVO.
They're gonna
Uncle Tom.
Yeah, they're gonna assess your blackness then. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, but on that note, Kyrie, good luck, brother.
Paint the court.
Paint the court.
Paint the court.
Until next time, please remember to support logical content, and we will see you later. Peace.
Peace.